Jack Allen was only 38 years old when he won a $500,000 jackpot at the casino. He was also only 38 years old when he was found, presumably burned to death. The thing about Jack is he never trusted banks. That's what made it confusing when the investigation team of Mattie and Hurley couldn't find any of his winnings. Welcome to Fictional Narrative. It's Cozy Saturday! If you are new here, Cozy Saturday is a series where I delve into the newest cozy mystery that I've read. I give the non-spoiler review, a rating, tell you whether or not I would continue it, and then we go into the spoilery part of the review. This week I'm reviewing Lucky Stiff by Annelise Ryan, which is the fourth book in the Mattie Winston mystery. And I gotta say, one thing that I really enjoyed about this book is it dropped us right into the action of Hurley, who is a detective, Mattie, who is an ME, finding Jack Allen's body. His death is beyond suspicious. He barely has any family. He has kind of a girlfriend. Basically, this list of suspects is not quite long, but still manages to throw Hurley and Mattie into a loop that they didn't see coming. Mattie is an incredibly strong character. I love her character as a medical examiner. She used to be an ER nurse, and the writing for this is really good. Annelise Ryan did an amazing job dropping me into book 4 without making me feel like I've missed out too much on any of the previous books, except for the obvious tension between her, meaning Mattie, and Hurley. The initial mystery is really good. I will say that despite the fact that we have this looming mystery and you're thinking, okay, this is an investigative team, they're gonna investigate, there is actually a lot more focus on the storyline of their romance, which was very distracting, to be honest. It was more distracting than I would have liked, but also it is a conflict of interest. Right off the bat, it is portrayed as a conflict of interest because they work together. And while a lot of people find office romances to be cute, for me, it is not my cup of tea. There are parts of this book that just dive into absolute chaos that, honestly, I didn't even know if there was a point to, other than making me feel bad for Hurley, Mattie, and any other of the characters that they're with. And because there's so much tension between Hurley and Mattie, and it feels like this forbidden romance type of thing, and we learn it straight off in the first chapter of this book, the jealousy is also way too much on both ends. But as Mattie is the character that we see the point of view from, we get a full scope of her jealousy and everything she thinks. And you know what? I can understand if jealousy might bring misogyny out of somebody a little bit. I'm just saying it was a bit much. And all this for indecisiveness, I mean, I'm not really one to be patient for that. The reveal of who the killer was also disappointing. I felt like it kind of came out of the blue. My big issue was the way that it was done. I felt like for everything that had been building up in this book, that kind of felt like a letdown. I rated this book a 3 out of 5 though, because I think it's still well written. I just think it's not for me. But also this author is pretty funny, if I'm honest. That being said, I will still not continue it because it's not my cup of tea, but it might be yours if you're interested in an ME helping solve mysteries. This could be the one for you. Which, by the way, although I understand that Mattie's medical knowledge is a huge portion of her expertise and it actually is valuable within the book, why is she just tagging along with a detective? When she's an assistant and they have bodies and stuff. That is something that I never got. But anyway, let's delve into the spoilery portion of this review. First of all obviously I'm going to address the tension between Mattie and Hurley. So, when it comes to jobs, it is stated very clearly in the book, Mattie probably has more choices than Hurley. He's a detective. It's a small town. So the big decision is, if she gives them a chance, she has to leave her job. And is she ready to do that? Because she's been through a lot of stuff. She also has to ask herself, is she ready to give love another chance? And these are all valid things. But the way that she and Hurley have played cat and mouse throughout the entire book seemed so unnecessary. They also get thrown into things like they have to go to a conference, and there's a firefighter who's also going to the conference with them. Their plane has to make a stop. There's this huge storm. They get stuck in it with the firefighter, whose name is Candy. At one point in this car, their tire pops. Hurley goes out to change the tire. Candy goes out to presumably help Hurley. And then Mattie goes out, steps on a hill of fire ants, and then she's got literally ants in her pants. She goes into anaphylactic shock. They take her to the hospital. Then they're like, okay, we're just not going to go to the conference, because originally they were going to go from the airport to the conference. They were like, we're not going to go to the conference. This is cursed. So they decided to drive back, and now Candy is driving, and a truck just messes up really bad. And so you have pile up of cars, and their car is not exempt from this huge, gigantic accident either. And then at the end of all of that, Mattie and Hurley have to come back and immediately jump back into action to solve these two crimes. Because since we're in the spoilery section now, there's more than one crime that they have to figure out. And it just seemed like It really just seemed like the mystery portion of this was just side quests. And the romance was the true point of this book. I'm telling you, my lack of patience does not make me feel better about this. Again, series of events just makes me feel sad for the character, Mattie in particular, but at the same time, was any of this necessary? Also, the jealousy is really, really out of control. Like, I think I didn't state it enough in the first half of this video. The way that Mattie, by the way, Mattie is 6 feet tall, so she's a very tall lady. The way that she kind of wants to wedge herself between other women who find Hurley attractive, it's really kind of gross. And of course, it's only people that she thinks are her competition. Hurley only seems to have interest in a few of these women, but not all of them. So, but the fact that someone Mattie deems is attractive just circles near Hurley and she gets really annoyed is, it got exhausting after the first time. I did not expect it to see it like 4 or 5 more times. Another thing that I want to discuss about this book is the pacing isn't bad, but the characters fit too many things in a day. Like, we all have 24 hours in a day. Yes, okay, Beyonce has a different 24 hours than us because she can afford, help and assistance and things like that. That's not what I'm talking about. You're telling me that these two are up doing interviews and then they gotta go, take this body out of this lake, but they also have time to stop because they have to get to this area on horses. And then after that, they go to a casino. And then Mattie has the time to get drunk, lose 5 to 15 grand. I forget which one it is. She lost an enormous amount of money at this casino. Then throw up all over Hurley's car. She drives a hearse, so Hurley has to take her home in her hearse. What? And then after that, after she's taken care of, right, she wakes up hungover, whatever. And she goes to work anyway, even though she's given the day off, she goes to work. So she goes to work. And then she goes to talk to Hurley, who had to take her home, and she's like apologizing. He's like, you are going to clean my car. She's like, okay, pick me up. Okay, I'll pick you up later, whatever. I'll go and, we'll talk about that. Or we'll go pick up your car from the casino because you left it there. She goes to the hospital to get like the hospital grade cleaning supplies, which she doesn't work at this hospital anymore. But she's friends with people there, so they're just gonna give her cleaning supplies. And then she, like, I think at one point she gets her hair done. She takes a nap. She goes to her sister's house and has a meal. And then they go to, what? And regardless of if a town is small, maybe I just haven't been to enough small towns. Or maybe I just haven't been able to take power naps. But if you're telling me you have an hour and you're going to take a nap and then go and do all these extra things that you have to do, how does an hour work for that? Like, my drive to see my best friend takes about 10, maybe 15 minutes with traffic. Even then, it still feels like it's forever. So the fact that, like, she can do all of this stuff is either A, she has a lot of stamina, or B, she operates on the barest minimum of sleep, which I don't believe to be the case. Okay, it just seemed like they were fitting so much in a day. And I don't begrudge them for doing their job. Like, for the field that they work in, they probably have a packed day. But if you're having a packed day, how are you able to do all that extra stuff? Getting drunk, throwing up, not noticing when the casino is plying you with drinks when you got work the next day, and you drove, and you knew that you had no friends at that casino. Well, Hurley was there, but she did not know that he hadn't left yet. It was all just very confusing. In the end, Mattie does make her decision about Hurley. And it's rough. You think at least they'd get like a nice romantic ending, but since that is basically our main storyline, no the fuck they don't. Annelise Ryan said that would be too easy. Okay? At this point, she may as well have thrown in a secret twin that Mattie was actually in love with, and the real Hurley was the villain all along. And I feel that way because the characters have been through a lot of stuff in this book that I at this point, it's a soap opera. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. That is it for this week's Cozy Mystery. I'm hoping to bring these back more. I had to drag myself out of my reading slump by my hair. Okay. So I'm hoping that I have a good bout of productivity that sticks. Let me know if you would read this book. I don't regret it. I just wouldn't continue the series. Thanks for watching. Bye.